Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good?
And we're back.
Back.
Another episode of Hot Takes and Half Truth.
Yet again.
It's your boy, Ivy Joe.
It's your boy, Ja'Cory, at Just King, and you already know.
And again, recording live from the JKM studios in beautiful, sunny West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah. Not too sunny right now. It's nighttime. But,
But it was sunny today.
Beautiful day today. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, it was a good day today.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Excuse me.
It's all good.
Oh, man.
What happened? Are we going to have to...
Yeah, man. It's already coming in, bro. People fucking with the podcast, and they know we following, these controversial topics, so they sending them to me now. So we just got hot off the press, some Jussie Smollett.
Yeah, we're going to hit that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's on the agenda
doubt.
tonight.
So, all right, but before we get to that, man, I just think it's funny that, that came through, while we were recording. So, but before we get to that, week recap, man. How was your week?
It was a slow week, bro. Like, the first 2 days really got thrown out because I had some training, all-day type training. Monday and Tuesday, I threw the whole week off, man, to be quite honest. And, but afterwards, I was pretty productive the rest of the week. I mean, I got a lot of work I need to take care of next week. But, yeah, productive week.
No doubt. Okay.
About yourself?
Just work, man. Well, I mean, I guess not. Work is picking up. Let me say that. Has some interesting news as far as the baby's concerned. So, had that happen, had another ultrasound visit and stuff. So we're at the point where, it's week by week, right? We got to go make weekly visits and stuff. So
yeah,
doctor made the comment that's like, hey, we're at that point to where, these weekly visits are important. So we're at the point where it's like, they're checking to see if it's no longer beneficial for the baby to be in the mother. Yeah. Which was interesting, right? Because now that's basically saying like, next week we might say it's go time, right? So that's a possibility. Yeah. But then in addition, man, we got video now. Yeah.
Me too, baby.
Spent an evening. Thank you. Spent one evening, man, staying up to like 2 a.m. trying to edit the video aspect to the podcast. Now we a vlogcast. You feel me?
Yes, we are.
A vlogcast. We got video now.
We got it all now.
3 weeks. It took 3 weeks for us to, update audio. We got some feedback from the people. Got the audio updated. Got some feedback. That'd be nice to have some video. Got the video updated. So, I like this. I like progress. It ain't perfect, but it's progress, and I'll take that. So that was my week, man. Work, baby, wife, and podcast. So
also feel free to follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. I guess the way we're gonna do it is the premieres.
Yeah.
We're gonna shoot basically Thursday nights.
Okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that way we can have our Fridays too.
Yeah. I mean, it almost happened last Thursday. It was just.
Yeah.
So. I think that one run through was our kind of practice.
Yeah.
So we're gonna shoot for Thursday, but
it was. I mean, I'll say this, man, about the podcast, right? And it's more so about us, but it's happening through the podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Is that, I mean, Thursday night, man, it was 11 o'clock. 11. I mean, I slept in the spare room trying to get the thing to render the video and export it and all that, and it's like I would wake up and another failure code. Now I was like, all right, let's try it again, another one. But I mean, you stayed there till 11 something, right? Trying to get it. So I appreciate you and big ups to you for sticking through it that late, right, on a work night. But I just don't see nothing stopping us, man. Like,
I think we learned what we need to do that night, between that night and Friday morning.
Yeah.
That's what we did wrong.
But it was not even just that though. It was like, this is a testament of triumph. It's like, we got the error message, had to stop it, shut it down, try to export it again, right? Another error message, had to stop it, shut it down. And anybody that renders videos, like, y'all know, like, if you gotta last week's episode was 3 hours long. So we got a 3-hour video that I think the original file was 200 gigabytes worth of video, audio, all that, right? So we're trying to render these and export this file multiple times. So we did it once, but then tried to upload it in YouTube. The file's too big for YouTube. So we had to go back, try to compress it. So we went back, compressed it, then tried to upload it, and it's like something went right there, right? But basically what I'm getting at is that, man, we met failure about 10 times on this, right? And then still found some way, a way to get it done. And we had our little premiere last night, Friday night, 8 o'clock or 8:30. And yeah, man, I was proud, man. I had that joint on the big screen, had it on the laptop, had that mug on the phone. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care, bro. Had it on 3 screens at once, man. Wifey, I told her to put it on her phone. She said she did. I didn't check.
Maybe that was the third.
I didn't peer check her though.
Maybe that was the second one.
But she had it on the big screen, so she was watching. She gave us some feedback and stuff too. So, shout out to Wifey, man, trying to help us out, help us make the show better. So, that's it, man.
Good deal. So, I guess with that said, drink of the week is on my turn.
Drink of the week.
We talked about this a few weeks ago. No, you don't like them.
Did we? Oh, here we go.
No, you don't like them.
Here we go. You know what that means, folks.
But I told you, I think this is the one, because it's the one I like the most.
IPA.
Yes, sir.
I can't even read the label from here, but the fact he said that means it's a goddamn IPA.
Yeah, and it's Dogfish Burton Baton.
Okay.
Oak aged IPA.
He likes things that are aged in oak.
Yeah.
Aged in oak. Okay. Man, I think I ain't listening to nothing new this week, so if you down, I don't know if you did or didn't.
Actually, just real quick, because I didn't do no albums, but a couple of tunes did cross my ear palette this week.
Okay.
And one is by a guy, Lucky Day.
Never heard of him.
Karma. I love the sound of that song. It has a very raspy, kind of old funk vibe to it.
Okay.
Like it.
Okay, no doubt.
Then I got Put a Date on It by young Yo Gotti. My bad. Yo Gotti and Lil Baby.
I Am.
And then
it's your boy Yo Gotti.
One that I ran up on, I was kind of shocked, but I guess it came up because of my listening history with Lil Boosie. But what is it? Mope 3 featuring Lil Boosie. Everybody remix. Dope concept to that one. I like that one.
I be killing me on the weekly.
Dope concept
the
on
music of the week. I be killing me this week, man. He got
them boys from Dallas.
He got a triple double on my ass, man.
But it's not albums. It's just
a 3-peat.
And kind of doing editing the sound. You know what I'm saying? Kind of ran across a few of these songs, and I'm just like, oh shit, this shit kind of dope.
Okay.
I was like, I actually have some, and I think most of them were new, like within the last month or so.
Okay,
so
no doubt. Now I will say this: I didn't listen to it, but I had a homegirl posted several times on Valentine's Day that it's one of your Louisiana partners, August Alsina, dropped the project. So I didn't hear it.
Okay.
But she definitely said August was looking out as far as the baby making music goes.
So
for Valentine's Day.
We're gonna have to review that for the replacement of the artist that shall not be.
Just put it on there. Don't even review it. Get that nigga out of here, man. Put it on there. August Alsina, this whatever it's called, Valentine's Day project. It's on there. Gotcha. This shit strong.
Yeah, man.
But
what you think? I mean, dude, I don't be fucking around with the beer. I want it to be at least 9%.
I don't mean strong as in like alcoholic strong. It just,
but it has that. So I feel like
that'd be a bite.
No, I think all IPAs.
And I'm not saying bat for all the South Florida people. I ain't saying bat. I'm saying bite.
I think they all have bite, but I think this one has a little more texture to it, a little more complexity to it.
Shit's an IPA.
But I think this one has a little more complexity to it.
I'm gonna drink it because you bought it,
But I got the next two because I think you probably missed it. I got a 21-year-old aged Scotch in there for next week, so we.
No, I saw that on the counter.
Yeah.
I saw it.
That's what you thought. You probably thought that was it.
I saw it. I knew it was in the running, but I also, I thought that it might be used for other festivities.
All
So,
all right. Well, with that said,
but I'm honored. I'm honored that some 21-year-old age, what you said, Scotch, is up. So, we got a timer somewhere. We gotta keep this timer up. Make sure we can see that. Okay, no doubt. All right, so with that said, I mean, what do you want to jump into? You got the docket over there. I can't see the docket.
You had Jussie up first.
It did. It came through. So, dog, I really don't know how to feel about this topic no more because I think that upon initially hearing the story, I'll say this. I was caught off guard by the story. Right, and it just kind of appealed to me emotionally.
Yeah,
through some kind of, I don't know what to call it, experience or trauma or something that I could relate to. Yep. So I was ready to squad up for the man. Right, disgusted in the potential of it being, some
racial.
Yeah, something truly racially fueled. Right, as a result of 45. And his rhetoric, right? It's like we're given that, we're fed that almost on a daily basis, basically now. And it was just like, dog, it's disgusting that this is what is the byproduct of the president. You know what I'm saying? So I jumped out there, man, and was saying, what I thought, and those thoughts are valid and they are true, right? I absolutely still feel that way. If these two gentlemen would have been white men or any other color or cultural group, right? Because I think Americans, as American blacks, we just consider.
So what I will say,
all European descents white.
Just to jump in real quick, he's still saying that he believes it's white guys. He don't think these are the guys that did it. But keep going. Just as FYI.
But okay, and we'll get to that. But I'm just saying right now.
But I understand what you're saying though.
Right now, the story has taken a turn to where. It doesn't appear to be, or at least the two suspects in question don't fit racially motivated. The description that he provided. Yeah. Right? And he said they were in a mask and all that stuff, but it's like, the adjectives, the words he used to describe them, right? It painted a picture that you just knew it was some racist, redneck, white dudes or something like that, right? And I saw a couple tweets, that some people that were just like, so wait, they knew he was on Empire? And it's like, what redneck racist white people watch Empire? Because that would mean, because they did, he said they shouted, is that the...
Well, so what I will say...
From Empire.
I think white people do watch Empire, man.
Not saying they don't, but racist MAGA hat wearing white people?
Well, they could be closeted racists.
Possibly. But I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not saying there's not a possibility.
Be entertained by something that in a safe place, so I can watch it on TV.
I don't know what kind of hate that is, where you watching it but you hating it.
I mean, they do it all the time, man.
I guess I never seen any like racial hate to where people are doing that with racial things. But I digress. Right?
Because all I would say is, let's say for instance, it really was just one of the two that was really like die hard racist. If the narrative was true, or the narrative is true, it only takes one. They don't really like the issue that a lot of people in the past would always say is, yeah, you may not be racist, but you ain't doing nothing to combat your best friend, your cousin, your dad. So essentially, that's just falling in that same narrative that maybe just so happen his best friend is die hard, racist, and he goes along with it because that's his best friend.
Well, his best friend had the news. He had to bleach.
Yeah, well, hey,
all right, I'm not. I wasn't holding the noose.
Again,
is that his alibi? I wasn't holding the noose.
And at the same time,
he had the noose. I had the bleach. I had the IPAs in the bleach.
And at the same time, like you said, it doesn't seem like the actual. If this is true,
okay.
suspects fit that bill. And then I guess what they're trying to say is that, potentially he set it up.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
And what I would say that doesn't look good as far as that is concerned is him changing lawyers to the lawyer that he went with. He went with Michael Cohen's old lawyer. The guy.
I don't know who that is.
That's President Trump's old lawyer that got indicted.
45, huh?
Yeah, recently got indicted, and basically this is the lawyer that worked with Mueller on his agreement.
Okay.
So he recently hired that cat. That doesn't look good. So I would say that doesn't look good.
Well, none of it looks good. And I don't know. I mean, the media is known for I think they refer to this as like smearing, right? And they don't like you. If somebody doesn't like you and they're in the position of power with the media, they can run smearing campaigns. True. They can basically use the networks to run a lot of content that discredits your character and all that. And we see it all the time, right? Oh, yeah. Especially anytime like a black person is assaulted by cops or anything like that, that's what happens, right? Trayvon, it happened, right? They take, instead of sending, the pictures from Trayvon's, he was in a aviation program, right? And I met the dude that was his instructor. Had pictures of him in the aviation program, dressed up in his aircraft mechanic suits, working on planes and stuff, right?
But that's what they do to us.
But you don't see those images. You see the images of like, Trayvon where he put a grill in or something like that in a hoodie, where it's like he's trying with his boys and they just kind of flexing, or whatever. They adolescent boys, man. Like they going through that phase where it's cool to be tough and it's cool to like act like whatever. And it's like that's the picture they're always gonna throw out there, right?
Yeah, especially
when they're trying to discredit.
Again,
yeah, definitely. And I think Trump is doing it right now. 45 is doing it right now with like the wall. And I don't mean to get off topic, but I mean all the rhetoric he's giving of Mexicans crossing the border are what?
Are we gonna get on that?
No, we will. But I'm not trying to jump to that topic now. I'm just saying that it's actively happening and before us right now. That he doesn't focus on the people that come over and that are actually making a living. What does he do? He paints all the people that are crossing illegally as rapists and murderers or drug cartel members, right? And that's a dangerous rhetoric to run. But it's the same thing that, the same tactics that are used against people of color when, the cop steps out of line, right? The cop is the one at fault for something, right? Or the vigilante, right? Because Zimmerman wasn't even a cop. He's just a vigilante that killed this young boy. And instead of showing like Zimmerman's crazy mug shots, they're showing him at like community service events smiling with homeless people. But then Trayvon, they show like the most thugged out picture
and I think
that they can show at him.
One of the biggest things,
it's bullshit.
I think another example of that was a couple years ago when you remember that kid got eaten by a gator up in Orlando.
The baby or the child, yeah.
Yeah, and I think within a few weeks of that, or maybe a couple weeks before, a young black woman had something similar happen. Not necessarily her kid didn't die, but he got injured, and they did all kinds of research on that woman to kind of see, she did this, she did that.
Her as a mother.
Yeah, to kind of make it seem like, well, we should do something about her, but they didn't do nothing on that woman. Like, yo, dude.
No, I mean Casey Anthony.
So
it's a prime case, but we won't. I digress, right?
Yeah.
I want to wrap this up, but I want to ask you some questions, right? About. It was interesting to me. What was interesting to me about this was Jussie Smollett's response to the skepticism he's receiving from his allegations, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel on that? How do you feel about him, being annoyed? But I think it's deeper than that. I think he was hurt that people didn't believe his story, right? That he just came out with the story. What's your take on that?
Well, first things first, I hope that it isn't a story. I hope that it is not a situation of his own doing. I do hope that.
Yeah.
But with that said, I feel for the man. Like if he really went through that and have people questioning it, man, I can only imagine, the feeling. I'm thinking another topic that we're going to talk tonight. That individual probably feels the same way. What she's going through. But all I would say is this. and not to get off your question because it's just something I.
Not to get off, but I'm gonna get off the question.
Yeah. Reading up on, because the guys got released, I think yesterday or today.
Yeah.
And that's the two.
Get some
brothers.
backstory to that. Get some context to it because.
So essentially,
we haven't mentioned it yet.
So what happened was these two guys, the two Nigerians, one of the brothers, one's 25, 127. One of them actually is an extra on Empire, so they've crossed paths, and he actually, and that's Jussie, actually follows their Instagram page, which the two brothers share.
The attackers, the alleged attackers,
the
right?
attackers.
They were taken into custody as suspects.
The suspected.
Yep.
And supposedly that night they boarded a plane, went to Nigeria, and then came back essentially Wednesday, and got met at the airport. And they've been in custody since then until I believe this morning. Well, okay. Friday, sometime Friday. It was released Friday.
Okay.
But I think the interesting thing what I found was those brothers' lawyers basically kind of pointing to Jussie having things to answer to, and that the investigation could get murkier, so to speak.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that means that kind of like what they're trying to say as far as he's in on it, or like he got the brothers to do something.
Yeah.
But I would say I would hope, or I would believe that I haven't seen any mask that you can't really see something of skin.
Yeah, you're gonna see some lips or something.
And
eyeballs.
I don't believe, at this point, it's hard for me to believe that he was, you look at this and you can't see that this is not a black guy or not a white guy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm falling back on as far as if to believe him or not. I'm like, look, you should be able to tell, man, because even if he got a mask on, you can see something around.
But that to me is for the cops. That's not to me for Jussie, because if he was getting attacked, man. He probably just balled up and covered his head, and all he knew is what he heard, because that was more of what he said. Mm-hmm. I heard ski mask, I heard MAGA hat, I heard a bunch of stuff, and I don't know why you would wear a MAGA hat with a ski mask. That's kind of
I don't think even that. I just think he said MAGA country.
Okay,
I think that's what it was.
Whatever. So fair enough, right? But how do you feel specifically about him taking that stance of where he is hurt and is shocked that people aren't believing his story? Think about it in the context of 2019.
I understand. So I feel for him as far as is going through a situation like that where he's been the victim of some type of physical attack.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of situations out there over the last 10 years that you could point to that people were actually doing something to get attention, and what they're basically trying to say is he's about to get written off the show.
Thank you.
So
that's all I want. That's it. And I was talking with my wife about it earlier, and it's like you can't. It's 2019. Like, it's so much fake news going around that, like, even we talked about like the opera ATL story before, right? On the first episode, where I said, I have to take a stance to where I'm not going to react emotionally, which I did with this story, right? Yeah. I did, and we see what position it placed me in, right? Placed me in this compromising position, and where I'm out here basically saying, let's ride for Jussie, where there might be some foul play, I don't know, but it's so muddy that like you have to be skeptical right now. You have to reserve your reaction, your judgment, until you get the facts. Yep. Right? You can't just jump off of a ledge, whether it be racially motivated, financially, economically, politically. It's like you got to have a sound a sound argument, meaning facts, before you can really commit to something emotionally. Because I feel like, man, somebody done pulled the rug from under me right now. And the case still isn't settled.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that it's not redneck white guys that are the main suspect. But maybe I'm just falling victim to the media.
Yeah, that too. That too. Because I can always point back to early 2000. There was like a serial killer going around in South Louisiana. And, man, that first composite they put out there was not the guy they arrested. That was not like the composite was like your stereotypical like Creole, you know what I'm saying, yellow, straight hair type of dude. But the guy that they arrested was like brother, straight brother. You know what I'm saying? Like no, that ain't the composite, baby.
Whatever, but yeah, man. So that you know that is what it is. You know, like I said, I'm finding it very hard, man. Like the news to me, it's like I don't know if I can believe it. And I hate that feeling, bro. I hate not being a part of the bandwagon when everybody is like all aboard something and being reserved. But it is what it is. That's just me, right? And not saying that there's anything wrong with what I do. It just feels weird. You know what I'm saying? When I'm reserved and everybody else is all in emotionally, and it just feels weird, but that's just how I am, man. And it's like, and it's proven to work well for me over the years, right? As I get older and stuff, so I'm gonna stick to it. This caught me off guard, but I gotta revert back to it and just stand my ground, man, on this because it's just getting crazy out here. Yeah. And I literally thought after we recorded the episode, I was driving home and I was like, this shit better not be a stunt for Empire. I was like, this shit better not be in whatever season, because I stopped watching Empire after like season 1.
I might have seen season 2.
But I literally thought this better not be a stunt.
Like, this is for my mom. My mom liked that show. That ain't for me. So the Gucci saga.
Yeah, man. Continue. I just love how when we record shit on Saturday, shit is literally happening as we're recording it on Saturday. Because this was a topic, and I think I mentioned that at the very end of the episode. Like, fuck, I forgot to talk about this, right?
Yes,
because
it was
literally developing, or it was just really taking off as we were recording. And it might have kind of got popular not a week, but a day before. Mm-hmm. But give some context. Gucci, similar to, I believe it was Prada before, right? Released this sweater that is an all-black sweater that pulls up above the mouth, under the nose, which already to me is like, what the fuck are you doing? But okay. And then it has a mouth cutout, right? Mouth cutout with a big pair of fucking red lips around the mouth cutout. Mm-hmm. All right, big pair of red lips around the mouth cutout. They caught a lot of backlash from people saying that, you know, this is fucking racist. They're saying this. What kind of Sambo shit is this?
Now apparently they said it's been out like 8 months though.
Yeah, it's been out a while, but you know, shit. We don't buy Gucci.
Just to add context.
We don't buy Gucci. So let me say this: when I heard that we were boycotting Gucci, that's some shit I could get on board with, boy. Cause I've been boycotting Gucci my entire life, bruh. I'm 30, bruh. I got 30 years of boycotting Gucci.
Gotcha.
And if I was ever gonna buy some Gucci, you done gave me a reason not to buy no damn Gucci.
Facts.
So you know I'm taking my $39.99.
Where are you taking?
On Monday, I'm going right down to Levi's.
Gotcha.
Cause Levi's ain't got no Sambo jackets.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet. They'll put a red bandana on the back pocket square, according to Killer Mike. You know.
Blue bandana.
Blue bandana
on the
when
left
Snoop
side.
is popping. Yeah, yeah. But all right, but yeah. So we so that happened, right? And Gucci caught some backlash for that, and now you got all types of people calling for boycotts of Gucci's products, and of everybody, I will say that Spike Lee had the most profound statement, which is it's deeper than boycotting. Spike Lee said, we're going to boycott until Gucci can hire and put in place some black fashion designers and directors, right, of their fashion and stuff, right? Basically, get some people of color in that design room, right? So I agree with that. I think it has to go deeper than not buying the product, right? Because we did that with H&M, where we didn't buy the product, and then they just take the product off, and it's like, okay, we back in H&M. I just bought a shirt from H&M a week ago. That white shirt in my maternity picture, H&M, $24.99, gotcha. Right? But it's something to be said that when we want growth, we want change, but we don't tell the oppressor what we want. Which is why I think what Spike Lee said was very important, was very profound, and we all need to take note of that, because he said we're not going to buy your product until you get a person of color in this design room to approve these designs before they go out, so we can catch shit like that.
I think I not to toot my own horn, toot, but a couple episodes ago I mentioned. The difference between our community and more affluent communities is essentially when there's a problem, we're like, hey, leader, fix it, as opposed to here's what we want.
Yeah.
And essentially, an affluent black man went out there and did exactly what I saying? Thank you, man. I'll take that.
That was for Spike Lee, but you doing everything you say you're not doing today.
Hey, man,
like not to toot my own horn.
Sometimes we gotta, bring up certain things when you do. I want my credit.
Yeah,
I want my credits.
All right, I hear you. Is that the name of the episode? I want my credits.
But I guess it's hard for me to, on just a binary level, I can see the upset, why you're upset about it. That should be obvious. You would think that would be obvious.
Yeah.
Not to do those type of things. But I guess almost leading into it kind of from your perspective, I don't buy much Gucci. So it's not hard for me to, say no to it.
Yeah.
I think additionally, from a perspective of boycotting, I don't know if boycotting is everything that comes up is the best approach to fixing a solution, fixing a problem, should I say. Like with this one, how many black people actually buy Gucci?
I don't know, but T.I. said he spent 7 figures in there.
It's T.I. like Mike, like Killer Mike said, T.I. is white rich, man.
He is.
so
he is.
That
I am not.
That's nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't spend that much time in Gucci like that. Like, here and there I go. But so I don't know if a boycott is really gonna do much other than just the initial bad press. And how much longer do we have on that stopwatch before it's up?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's the best approach.
Yeah. Neither do I. But I will say that it's something to be said when you're being mistreated. You say, hey, I'm taking action. We're taking action. I'm not going to support your product. Right? And it's not necessarily about us, right? It's about how many rappers are name dropping them in songs, right? Yeah. If the rappers get on board and they're not getting this free marketing, which essentially is what it is, and they may be giving them some merch or some something under the table. Shit,
listening to T.I., no, it must not be.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? If he's 7 figures and they're not even breaking him off, it's something to be said, bro, that he's mentioning it and saying it, right? But if they cut all that out, that's free promo that like you're missing out on right now. Mm-hmm. That they'd be a fool to not take advantage of it. But the bigger picture here is that you diversity, man. Like, and I hate to sound like a broken record, because I know everybody, it don't matter if you work at McDonald's all the way up to you work for some top, top fucking investment firm in Wall Street or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. They're preaching diversity right now. They're preaching it. But there's benefits to it that come from it, and this is one of them, that you don't have a gross misstep, right, as something such as something like this, where it's not even the fact that they did it, it's the fact that they did it after Prada just did it. Like Prada just did this last year with the blackface, red lips all over the jacket. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so if you saw the backlash they got, why the hell you coming out with the same shit a year later? You know, and at some point you got to start to think like, dog, they doing this shit on purpose.
Yeah. So I was just about to say that we were just talking about not wanting to think that it was a publicity stunt, but this one right here, like you just said, like you just saw this, and then you come out the very next year, and the Prada one wasn't even around the mouth. It wasn't like it. You know, you have to kind of almost reach a little bit for it, but cross the face. Nah, you like that is
blackface is blackface, man. If I see a blackface and red lips, I'm thinking Sambo. That's all it is. But it's just something to be said, and then us as black folks as well, right? People of color, period. But I'm speaking to the black community right now because we are like, now they're smart. The enemy is smart. You know what I'm saying? So they realize that black outrage is a thing.
Yeah. It's marketing.
Tommy Lauren, black outrage. That is a thing.
She blew up out there.
So we have to become smarter.
And so that's why the whole
repressors.
That's the whole thing about the boycott. That when I said I don't know if a boycott,
but the boycott is fine.
Is every that's part of the outrage. Doing
is we gotta stop hitting fucking retweet. We gotta stop hitting retweet. We gotta start hitting the DMs with this shit, right? And I know nobody likes those fucking, Candy Crush messages you get, right? Where it's from everybody soliciting like lies and Candy Crush. This is almost like what it's gonna become, right? But we gotta start DMing each other that's saying like, hey, this is the bullshit Gucci did. Don't retweet this shit. Just don't buy their fucking products. Here are our demands. We not retweeting it. Don't retweet it. Don't say Gucci in a tweet, because in case you don't know, even if you just type something, you don't even got to put an @ in it, right? If you just type something, it shows up in Twitter metrics, right? You could be trending just from people typing, I am Ivy Joe, right? If a million people tweet and have Joe spelled Jeaux, it will trend. You don't need the @ you don't need the hashtag. Mm-hmm. So we need to get on the back channels when it comes to shit like this. We posted, on the podcast page, I posted, the Floyd Mayweather shit, which we'll get to here in a moment. Mm-hmm. But like, even that is too much publicity for Gucci and Mayweather, right? This shit needs to be on the back channels to where the public ain't seeing this publicly, right? It's just going to us. And we are saying to us, don't buy their shit. Don't mention them in the text. They should be like Voldemort. And if you don't know who that is, read a Harry Potter book, please.
How about to say?
Right? I only read one of them because they too damn big. But watch the movie. They got all the movies out. But they don't even say his name in the movie. He who shall not be mentioned. How we treat one R&B singer that shall not be mentioned since he was canceled. Right? Don't even say their name. Find some other way to reference them and say, we not supporting y'all until demand. Mm-hmm. Right? Because it's not, don't just get rid of the sweater. Yeah. That shit was trash anyway. You was going to get rid of that come the spring. Right? It's rolling up on springtime. That shit was finna be on clearance at Ross.
Didn't they just have Fashion Week, Spring Fashion Week in New York already?
I don't know. I dress like I'm trash.
They just had that recently.
But
I follow a few models.
Okay.
I think they've been up.
So there you go. Spring season is rolling out. So the fucking long neck sweater, face sweater shit was phasing out anyway. That was finna be on clearance racks at Marshalls and TJ Maxx. Mm-hmm. What we need to do is say, we're not supporting none of your shit, not just this ugly ass sweater, until y'all hire some of these prominent black fashion designers, directors, whatever, that we have in our community to your fashion house.
It don't necessarily have to be them, but it has to be. We have to have. They have to have someone in the room.
I disagree with that.
When I say that, I'm just saying that it could be some young guy that we don't know of yet. That's black or brown. I mean, it could be someone other than just the well-known But I mean, a black brown face is what we looking for.
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying black because I'm not saying this is specific. Oh wait. This is specific to the argument for black people. I'm not saying they shouldn't have brown people there as well, right? You need some Latinos, you need Hispanics, you need Asians, Indians, Middle Easterns, right? You need a little bit of everybody there because there is something that's offensive to every group, right? Yeah. But every group has fly individuals in it. I done see some fly Indians. I done see some fly ass Asians. There was a frat that was nothing but fly ass Asian dudes. I don't remember their letters right now, but everybody knows them crispy ass Asians, man. They was fresh.
All I was gonna say is that in my mind, black people are brown and black. So
yes, but I'm speaking specifically to black people right now.
When I said black or brown, I am talking still about black people.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Y'all need black people back there, and black people we don't come into color.
And all I'm saying is, we kind of talked about this maybe in the first episode or two. If it's some young cat that's out there busting ass that ain't well known, and you want to give him a shot, I'm not opposed to you bypassing someone to give him a shot.
I'm not saying don't include the young.
That's folks. All I was saying.
I'm just saying we have prominent black designers and directors, right? Yeah. So they would be ripe for the picking. But yes, sure. If there's a young hot dude coming up, Beyonce picked a young boy for her not album cover, but it was the magazine cover, right? Young dude. I forget where he's from, and I forget all his information and stuff. I was just looking at like his Twitter like 2 weeks ago. But he's not this giant photographer or whatever. But she selected him. Yeah. Cool. Right? There's not saying don't give the little guy a shot, because if you see something in his art, then go for it by all means. But you need somebody, I'm speaking specifically of black people right now, you need somebody representative of that culture in that room when these designs are being approved. Yep. Point blank period. And that could be said of every culture, right? There's too many to list, but you need somebody that is knowledgeable. Right? If you're going to get a Latino, they need to be knowledgeable of Latino cultures and what is there, right? And that's the value that they bring. That's the value of diversity, is that you bring an interesting perspective of potential like benefits that your culture brings, but also pitfalls that exist if you don't execute correctly, right? Because you put a fucking Sambo face on a goddamn sweater and now you got an entire culture backlashing against you, except for fucking Floyd, Money, May.
But and your boy Kodak.
Damn, not Kodak, man.
Yeah, that's your boy too.
We was just listening to Kodak.
Yeah, I was about to say. That's what I said. Your boy.
Damn identity theft slaps. Potentially slaps.
That's why.
Because I might have to cancel his ass. So it might not slap no more.
So I guess just to kind of get into it. Right into it, because I remember. So on the page we had a question whether or not they were sellouts.
Yeah, well, Floyd was a sellout or not. Which to which did you look at the results?
I know they said yes. When I voted, I said yes. But I was the one that said I was one of the few that said no.
God damn, man, come on, bro.
And the reason, so
it was like 90-something%.
So I was the one. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, let me hear it.
Do we really look at Floyd as someone that's gonna
That's not the question. That's not the question.
No, but you got. So I keep talking about. I'm big on context. Floyd has never been someone for the quote unquote culture. He's always been about himself and shining. So why are we looking for him to do something beneficial for, the larger body? He's always been about himself. And look at me. Look what I can buy. He's always been, and I'm a Floyd Mayweather boxing supporter. I like Floyd in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
He was great. You know what I'm saying? So this is not someone that everybody he fought, I was against him. No. I actually pulled for him every fight that he had. I pulled for him.
Yeah.
But I don't look to him as someone that's gonna hold up what is right and wrong in society.
So you tell.
So in that case, he can't be a sellout. He's doing exactly what I expect him to do. He's being that stereotypical athlete who all he knows is I get in the ring and I beat people up. That's what he knows. And I'm rich. So I'm money.
So you telling me right now that Floyd is not a sellout?
I'm saying I don't expect nothing out of him from that perspective to call him a sellout. Like, he's beneath that to me. Like, I don't even expect that from you. Like, I would expect, like, I think I would probably get more upset, like, and even 50 did it. I would be upset, like, if 50 were to say something like that, then I'd be like, yeah, he a sellout. Because every once in a while, he tries to get on the fence as far as, you know, being for the culture or whatnot.
Yeah.
But Floyd, you know what he is. He's about making money, you know, stealing people's girls, and buying flashy shit.
You're not really stealing. He's renting.
Hey. But he need money to do that.
It ain't stealing when you pay for it, baby. It ain't tricking
so,
if you got
you know, like, so
it is tricking,
in that instance, I can't look at, like, realistically speaking, did you not expect that from Floyd?
I mean, I have to agree.
So if you expect him to be that way, then how can he be a sellout? The only way he's a sellout, if, say, for instance, you expect him to hold the line.
So,
like T.I. If T.I. came out with some bullshit like that, yes.
So let me say this. So you asked me, did I expect that from him? So I would say this. Me expecting something of Floyd Mayweather is about parallel with that skit Dave Chappelle had about, I wonder what Ja Rule would say at a time like that.
Fucking A. Fucking A. So,
there has never been an issue in the black community to which I have said, I wonder what Floyd Money Mayweather
exactly. That's all I'm saying.
Thinks about this. So
I can feel people that say that he's won. I'm just like, I don't expect.
But
I never expected.
So this is different. So that's different to me. So that's different, right? So my expectations of Floyd are different from my expectations of, not expectations, but do I think he's a sellout? Right? Because it's not an expectation. It's just you could pan that camera to any black person in that moment, right? And if any black person in that moment where we are rallying as a people behind something, and someone says, that ain't got shit to do with me.
Exactly.
I'm, however you want to word it, right? I'm not a follower.
That's what he
I've
did.
never been a follower. I'm not this. I'm not that. They didn't say that about me. If ever your people are rallying for something, right? Floyd let me put it to you this way. Floyd had no reason to not go against Gucci, right?
Yeah.
But he also did not have a reason to be pro Gucci, right? He had no reason to be against or for, right? Mm-hmm. He's completely removed. He admitted that. But if your people...
Well, he's not completely removed, but...
He's fucking removed. Yeah, he shops there, he buys there, but...
He's still black. That still should
But that's...
be...
But I'm
it
saying,
still should
if you remove him from
him.
that, if you remove him from that, right?
But
That's
the basis of it.
But in my argument, that is the fucking what tips the scale, right? Is that there's no reason. Sure, it doesn't affect you. True, right? But your people, the people that support you, your people that at every fucking fight, are rallying behind you, right? Yes. Are standing up for something.
Yes.
And you say, that ain't got shit to do with me. It's got everything to do with you.
That's a clown, man. He's a clown.
You just a sucker who won't even stand behind the people that have put you in the position that you're at.
Like, you did what you had to do to get there, but
he ain't do shit. He's been fucking cherry picking fights his entire fucking career. He's been cherry picking fights his entire fucking career. When Pacquiao was at his prime, he brought up this fucking blood doping shit.
Was he?
It don't
see.
That shit don't.
So if we're gonna start talking
about blood doping,
if we're gonna talk about
Pacquiao
about Floyd in the ring,
doping.
I'm gonna defend him on that.
Fuck that. You can defend him all you want, but I'm gonna say
in the ring. I'm
gonna say what's real. I'm gonna say what's real.
Look,
he's been cherry picking fights his whole career.
We get out the topic with that.
We are getting off topic, but fuck it. Well, on Floyd.
I didn't think about it like that.
On Floyd. He's Floyd
about...
money made. He takes the money perspective. That's just what he does. Mm-hmm. Right? So, it ain't no integrity to it. I mean, he can argue. He positions himself to where he can argue it. Yeah. Right? But he doesn't fight who, like, if he barely beats somebody, right? He doesn't give them a rematch right after. He goes for where's the money at? Not necessarily where is the best competition. And as a boxer, as a fighter, right? One can
argue that's business, though.
Okay, but that's the topic, right? The topic is business versus integrity, right? So at the end of the day, if you're thinking for self, business will always be precedent. Mm-hmm. Business will always be number one. And with Floyd, business has always been first. Now, I'm not saying whether he's wrong or right with that. I'm just saying that has been evident throughout at least the latter half of his career. Because the first half of his career, you know, he was trying to build a name for himself. So he was taking pretty decent fights.
Yeah, he had to do what he had to do up until probably what's your boy, the Golden Boy? Is that his name? Golden Boy? What's the guy? The Golden Boy. You know, he got
Pretty Boy?
He got pictures of him. Let's look him up. He got pictures in girls' drawers, man. The Golden Boy.
I don't know right now, man.
I forgot his name. Golden Boy Productions.
I don't forgot them all too, but I think I know who you're talking about. The Pretty Boy, man.
No, he is not Pretty Boy.
I ain't calling him pretty. I'm saying
no. He was the Golden Boy because he went to the Olympics and Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh,
over to Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh, you mean he? You mean he was photographed wearing women's?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you meant like he was getting to it.
He like,
what
had
rich
that weird
athlete
picture
isn't getting to it? What rich athlete ain't getting the drawers, man? Come on.
No, he was in women's drawers.
Okay, yeah. He likes to cross dress.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, I thought you were talking.
But anyway, ever since that fight, I think it's been a money play.
Well, okay, yeah, that was one of his first like big major fights where he took on like a major. That might have been his first major debut. Otherwise, I mean, he was. I won't say amateur, but he was amateur on his way up. So he's fighting people that are worthy, but he still isn't like that name in his weight class, right? Okay. So,
anyway,
so let's
game versus money game.
Integrity game versus money game. So we posted this because this was interesting to me, right? Because and I think it's interesting to you as well.
And I have a question about it because I didn't participate in that because I was kind of confused on the question. So
okay, the question. Steve Harvey and Monique had a discussion, right? And you saw it got to be pretty lively. But for those that don't know, right?
That's how black people talk.
Yeah, in the African American community, we get pretty aggressive with each other during discussions.
It don't mean nothing until the physical action happens.
If you want to see aggressive, you watch a game of spades, right? And at the game of spades,
or dominoes.
or dominoes, between four people that actually know how to play, right? You would think that it was going to be a nuclear war the next day, but at the end of the day, right? Losers lose. They're gonna get up off the table. And as long as you got some good food or some drink around, whatever, they will eventually be reunited.
And I know Steve has some good food around.
Yeah.
I know
So that being said, they had a very interesting conversation, right? And, you know, I'll save you the long of it, but the short of it is that Steve was being kind of critical of how Monique was moving with these networks and with some of her, I won't really call them peers, but with people who work within the same industry, right? Entertainment industry, which is Oprah, Lee Daniels, so forth, so on, right? And just some backstory. Monique's been very vocal ever since her Netflix dealings, right? Where Netflix has made her, I would say, a laughable offer. What she believes to be a laughable offer.
Yeah,
she believes to be a laughable offer, and she believes that this offer should have been based upon her accreditation at that point, right? And Netflix apparently doesn't value their talent using the same metrics that Monique does. She was quoted saying she is the most highly decorated
comic.
Female comic with black. Female?
No, of all time.
Okay, man.
Of all time, and she's been backed in saying that, right? Because I think she's got like some acting awards and things like that, right? With Precious and some other shows, and then obviously her stand-up specials and everything else, right? So she's not wrong in that. Mm-hmm. But clearly that is not a metric that Netflix uses to base the draw that they're going to have to their platform, and from that, what they're going to pay people for their material. Yep. So she had a big issue with, the some of the rules that Netflix put in place, whether it be the payment, right, the payment structure, the withholding of content, where they say, Monique, you have to, whatever you submit to us, you can't take on the road and perform or whatever. So as we know, as a comedian, if you submit that material to them, now you got to go back to the drawing board and create another hour, which can be kind of tedious for comedians, right? Because it's just coming up with an hour worth of material has to be vetted, right? Yeah. It's an iterative process. You got to come up with it, try it, see what works, what don't work, tweak it.
I'm sure that takes at least a quarter.
Yeah, couple months to say the least. At the least.
Yeah.
So from that, she did a bunch of interviews. Breakfast Club, Big Boy. I believe she was on Big Boys. I don't know. I might be making.
She's out in LA, so I wouldn't imagine. Yeah. I would imagine
she made a bunch of major syndicated network radio interviews and posing the same or voicing the same complaints that this is an insulting amount, an insulting offer that they made her, and that she deserves more because she is the most highly decorated comedian to date. Man or woman, dead or alive, right? So with that, she's made some very, she's been very vocal about people like Lee Daniels, people like Oprah, which I don't need to explain who Oprah is. Lee Daniels is.
What did she say? Because I'm.
Fuck, I don't know. I mean, she just it's like, I guess she's kind of criticizing people for not coming to her aid.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Right. And you can Google it. Google it here real quick and just see what they're saying. We'll go to the main camera. That's on your boy. Shout out to all the viewers and not just the ladies because I'm married. Yeah. Hey, baby. But she's been very, very vocal to people who are prominent in the entertainment industry and that are people of color, that she expected to rally behind her and to support her, right? And even the Breakfast Club interview with Charlamagne, right? She's sitting there with him, and it's just like he gave her donkey of the day for her argument, where Charlamagne had a clear and valid, disagreement with, or he disagreed with how she was presenting, the offer from Netflix, where she was to Charlamagne's point. Damn, Charlamagne. To Charlamagne's point, to Charlamagne's point, it was like you're taking, this stance with racial, right? It's racial or it's sexist or whatever, and you're trying to use that argument to make the case for why Netflix offered you what they offered you, and he feels that this was kind of a red herring. Like, you're claiming that to get people to rally behind you, when really this isn't a case of that. It's a case of you just not popping out here, and they made you a low offer because, yeah, you are highly decorated, but you're not relevant, or whatever their metrics are, right? You don't fit the metrics right now.
So, I apologize for jumping in, but what I would say is we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. She may be onto something. She may know something we don't know. And there's a reason why she's calling them out. It's just now she's not playing politely.
Okay, and this is what becomes Steve's point. Hey, man, come on, man, crack me open, bro. What you doing?
I'm sure you wanted it.
I'm not sure I wanted it either. I'm gonna crack this Monster too. I mean, this energy drink. They didn't pay no check, so they don't get no shout out. Bleep that on the audio. Y'all see, I got the label turned back. I don't even know if you can see it from either camera. Shout out to the 3-camera setup.
The funny thing about it, even when it comes up, that's all you see.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all boys want more. You gotta, come and pay. But so this is what makes that Steve Harvey Monique discussion interesting, right? Because Steve is
arguably
bro.
very successful. Yeah. Well, yeah. First and foremost, Steve is the bros. Shout out to Steve Harvey and the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. That aside, Steve is successful, man. Steve is busy. Steve has a couple books out, right? He's got several shows that are syndicated and on nationally syndicated stations at one time.
TV and radio, right?
Yep, radio and television, correct. Steve also has a annual workshop for young men, young black men, inner city youth.
I know a few
where
guys
he takes
that
them out to his camp, and
I know a couple guys that worked it.
Yep. So, and I would love to get on with that. So, if anybody could pass this to Steve, let Steve know. Let Steve know the bros, you know. $5 fall 2010 Kai Tai Tai.
We'll
right?
talk.
I'm legit, man.
We'll talk.
Come holler at me. Yeah, come holler at me. But Steve knows a thing or two about the business, right? And Steve's criticism to Monique is that you know that we can't move the way we want to move out here, right? Mm-hmm. And this kind of falls back on our discussion on episode 1, right? With do you have to pretend to be white in corporate America, right? Mm-hmm. And corporate America is this broad term, right, that apparently encompasses energy, it encompasses tech, it encompasses entertainment as well, right? Yep. It's just when you're on the set and you got to be professional and you got to at something email, right? You in corporate America.
Yep.
That's what it is. And Steve's point to her was that we black. You're a person of color, right? You're black. You know you can't get out here and start acting any kind of way without there being consequences and ramifications. Mm-hmm. Right? He's not saying that you can't do it. He's saying that you can't do that and expect, right, there not to be consequences. Mm-hmm. To which I agree. That was not a false statement. That wasn't a false statement, in my opinion. But, and not even but. There's no but there. Monique took an opposite stance. She took a stance to where the industry should be integrity driven.
Well,
right?
It's not that.
Say again?
Well, it's not that at all.
Well, that's her stance.
But I will say this. I feel like, because like initially he was trying to give her game. And then when she threw out the whole integrity lane, I feel like he felt played, and that's when he got like, "This the money game."
Yeah, because he definitely cut her off, and she was like, "Well, let me finish." No, it's my show.
I was like,
"It's my show, baby. Main camera on me."
I feel like when she brought that up, he felt played. He's like, "I feel like me making the right decision for my family is all that the integrity that I need to have."
Which is interesting, right?
I found that interesting too,
because
and that's why I was going with this conversation.
There's an integrity integrity is multi-layered.
Facts.
Right? There's an integrity to the art. And, you know, I find that I have this conversation with Champ again. Here goes Champ. Again, we got to get a cardboard cutout of our boy. Yeah, man. Maybe like a little one to put up there. Just to sit on the side, bro. What would Champ say? But there's integrity, right, in music. And that's where me and Champ often have the discussion, because it's like, right now, I mean, how long has the trap sound been booming, been bunking?
Oh, wow.
Right?
2001?
Yep. Maybe not that late.
2001.
Nah, 50 was popping back then. That wasn't trap.
But it wasn't trap then.
Nah. The trap sound that we have now, I'm not talking like trap music, I'm serious, right? Because T.I. coined the term. We're going to settle this, right? T.I. is the father of trap music, right? But as far as the sound goes, that sound should probably be attributed to Lex Luger, either Lex Luger, Drummer Boy, or Southside were really the three producers that, like, and I want to say Lex Luger was probably one of the earlier ones. Drummer Boy was the earlier.
So what I'm going to say right here is we're going to stay on topic.
No, we are, right? But Drummer Boy is the sound that you hear now, Drummer Boy.
Back to it.
You hear me? So, trap music, I would say, was probably popping around 07. It was being introduced in 07, 08, right? As the sound that we hear today.
because that's when Drummer Boy Lex Luger were hitting the scene, right? And then now that's kind of the soundscape of popular music, of popular hip hop, which is pop culture, right? When you start talking like, what are the songs that take off and everybody's dancing to? It's hip hop. It's trap sound. It's the trap sound. And to maintain your integrity, right, would be to make the music that you make and not avoid it, but don't force that sound upon yourself. And a good example of this is, which Champ would hate that I'm making this argument, is Drake. When Drake did that damn, if you're reading this, it's too late, that album, mixtape, whatever you want to call it, was halfway, Drake, which is let me muffle some samples that I'm taking and freak it out, slow jams, rap, sing over it, whatever. And the other half was fucking trap. It was all trap. That was 10 bands. That was Energy. That was all these songs, right? That was Drake's foray into the trap world and accepting the trap sound, in addition to like the Versace remix and all this stuff that he would get on, right? That's Drake adapting, right? And not necessarily adhering to his sound for what may be the sake of business, right? Because this is the popular sound. I need to be able to do this if I plan to be relevant, right? You put one or two songs like this on the radio, on the album, I'm popping, I'm relevant, right? I'm popping, I'm relevant, and then I can hit them with the other 15, 16.
So back to your Drake analogy.
Yeah. He implemented, simply put, man, he implemented a way to seamlessly mesh the business without completely sacrificing his integrity. Because a lot of his albums are not mostly trap, right? The Future joint and the If You Reading This, whatever, those being the exceptions. His album, Views, More Life, and his recent Scorpion joint, they're for the most part his sound, right? But he
I don't think I listened to Scorpion.
Yeah. That was the last one that came out.
I don't think I listened to that one.
Yeah, well, you got to go back, and it's old now, but I mean, well, relatively, it's 2019 old, 2018 old, 1 year, but came out last June. But that, for the most part, was like his sound. And Scorpion was kind of half and half, because the first half was like rapping. It was like him rapping, but I won't say they were trappish, right? Drake is a rapper, so he raps, but they weren't all trap beats. Okay. And the second half was like his more R&B, his more melodic side. So that's what it was. But what Monique is saying is, to get back on the topic, Monique is saying that you should be all about the integrity, which Steve clearly disagreed. Steve is saying that at some point in time, you got to pay bills and you got to keep the lights on, right? So whether or not you want to be true to your craft or not, there's a diminishing return, is what he's saying, which I think is if you never heard that term before, like the law of diminishing returns. In math, this would be represented as a parabola, right? Or any even number ordered polynomial. But we'll stick with a parabola, right? That's that shit that looks like an arch. Okay. And what that is saying is that you can put so much into something that it reaches a peak. It reaches up here. This is the top where you're receiving the maximum benefit from it. But if you keep putting something into it, right, it eventually will fall off and no longer be as beneficial. Not saying it won't be beneficial, but you were at maximum return when you were here. And I think that's what Monique is struggling to hear and and to execute on, is that she's wanting to be all integrity, all art. The art should carry everything, and we're just not in that time anymore. Not saying you can't maintain your integrity, but you gotta meet the consumer where the consumer is at, and you gotta be willing to play that game, right? Steve Harvey, at one point in time, Kings of Comedy days, Steve was up there motherfucking and bitch and all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually he realized there's money if you can be funny and clean up your game. So Steve has since almost done a 180 as far as his act is concerned. And whether or not you think he's selling out on comedy, and I mean entertainment as a whole comes in waves. You're not gonna stay popping forever. Pretty soon, somebody new and refreshing and more interesting in the moment is gonna come out. Which right now is Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Right, and I think Kevin's time is coming to pass. And there's a lane opening for another comedian to come in and fill this void.
We love the new thing.
Yeah.
The
but
shiny
Monique
new
is
thing.
acting like that doesn't exist.
So
And she is not immune to the cycle of what's new and what's just interesting and just fresh to entertainment and to consumers. Mm-hmm. Right? We see it with Cardi B and Nicki, where fucking every time Nicki does something, there's like a wave of backlash against her for no reason, I feel. Right? Other than Cardi is new and popping.
Yep.
Right? Now, not to say Nicki don't do some things that isn't fucked up, but the amount of backlash she gets on a regular, Nicki will drop a record that 5 years ago, if she dropped this record, it'd be a fire record. But because Cardi is new and popping, people throw hate Nicki's way. Just because Cardi is kind of in that spotlight right now.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And Monique's got to understand that that's the environment that you're in the entertainment industry today. And that right now you're looked at as an OG, as an old head. So you're not the people in the movies that are making people laugh right now. Your movies were 5-10 years ago.
So I don't think that's the problem.
Okay. What do you think?
And I found this argument interesting. Because I don't think either one of them were completely wrong. I just think there are some interesting layers and perspective coming there that's meeting there live on TV.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying not to throw no cap, but I just don't know if.
Here we go.
I don't know if Steve knows what integrity means.
Oh.
Primarily because they're talking about two different things on the integrity perspective. He was talking from a perspective, I'm doing what I need to do to make sure that my family is taken care of.
Not entirely.
No, but that's what he was basically. When you say the money game, not the integrity game, that's what you're saying. Now, granted,
but you got to add context to that.
So I mean, look. So I'm going to get context because at the end of the day, I'm not even saying that what he's saying is wrong. I'm just saying I don't know if the actual.
So add context to your argument for me, so I can.
With that said, I think regardless of whoever you are, unless you actually come into the game in a position of strength, you're gonna have to make some compromises.
Okay.
And essentially, what he's saying is you're gonna have to make some compromises, and whether you want to admit to it or not, that may call into question some of your what could be considered your integrity to make the buck. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, because placed with the right situation, I'll probably do the same thing, because I definitely have the similar mentalities to what Steve was saying.
Yeah,
like you got to make the decision is for the bigger good. What's the greater good? Because I definitely agree with you can't help the poor being poor.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think what was missing there was sooner or later Steve's going to get to a place where he feels comfortable enough to where he can lay on those morals and that ain't good money. I'm good now.
I think he's there. I think he's been there.
I don't think so. I feel like he feels like there's some more to squeeze out of that orange. That's why he's talking money game, technique game. And the only reason why I bring this up is because, and this is what I find most interesting, is maybe Monique, in her mind, has already made it there.
Maybe. So.
And that she's willing to, because I done made enough money, I'm good. I don't need to make no more money. I don't need, it is about the art. Now, I'm good. Because do she have kids? I don't think she have kids.
I don't know, man.
if she got kids. I don't know.
I don't think she has.
Kids.
So and at her age,
kids.
And at her age, she's not gonna. If she don't have them now, she's not gonna have kids.
Well, all right.
So it's all about her. So now she they may be. So for instance, let's say she, like one guy, $5 million is good enough. The next guy, he wants 50.
Yeah.
Steve may be the guy that's trying to get 50.
Yeah.
In that instance, he still got to kind of make concessions to get there.
Yeah, but all right. So my argument, my disagreement with what you just said would be that Steve's comments were directed at Monique getting out here and telling the truth, right, about not just her but everybody else, right? She getting out here saying, well, this person, Amy Schumer, made this much. This person made this much. That person made this much, right? Yep. So Steve's comments were how you're going about it, right? It wasn't just about integrity and money, right? That was the big headline takeaway, if you will. And that's what we posed the question of on the page, right? But it's deeper than that. It was how Monique is handling the situation. How you're choosing to handle the situation is get out here and throw out what everybody made, what Chris Rock made, what Amy Schumer made, what this person made and that person made, right? Yeah. You're uncovering their economic victories, right? Because yours didn't amount to that. And what Steve was saying is that this is the money game, and you got to know that if that's how you're going to play, there's going to be ramifications for that.
True.
Right? So I don't necessarily think that Steve's stance was like, if this is a spectrum and it's integrity and it's money game, I don't think Steve's stance was completely over here with all money, no integrity, right? He's not saying sell out and do whatever you want to do. Steve is saying play the fucking game to get the money. So if there's a way to play it to where you're not out here uncovering everybody else's dirty laundry and making enemies in the industry, right? Because ultimately that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's making enemies. Why? Wait. She's making enemies when her enemy here truly is Netflix.
True.
But you're out here speaking bad about Oprah. You're speaking bad about Lee Daniels.
Yeah.
Chris Rock made this much. Amy Schumer made this much.
Yeah.
Why are you dragging these people into it and making they block hot for your issue?
So what I think, and this is what I find interesting and even potentially refreshing, is basically to go back to what I basically said earlier. Maybe Monique has made it to the point where she's good. And she's willing to fall on the sword whenever she feels she's wrong.
Maybe.
And at that point, it is all about integrity and the art.
To her.
But that's all that matters at that point.
No, it don't. But you know why?
Who are she hurting at that point? Other than herself.
But no, she's hurting herself. But what she's
other than
doing,
herself, who she's hurting?
What she's doing is she is all about integrity, right? Monique is all about integrity, and she's saying that the industry should be all about integrity, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not. So she's in a predicament to where she feels like this is how I am. You all should be this way too, but they're not. And it's not your platform. Netflix didn't come to you and ask you for the material. You went to them. So no. You don't draft somebody in the NFL.
I'm about to bring that up. Like, so
you don't draft nobody and then they get there and say like, well, I'm a scrambling quarterback, so the defense shouldn't. I
find it very interesting you brought up the NFL, because that's not Kaepernick's league. He just plays in that. He's an employee.
Yes.
It's someone else's league.
So he has to adhere to their.
But he still took a stand, didn't he?
He did.
And he paid the price for it. He was willing to pay.
This is backfiring on me.
He was willing to pay the price for it. Maybe she's willing to pay the price for it.
Maybe. But
that's why I said that I find that interesting.
No, don't conflate the two.
And sort of refreshing.
Don't conflate the two.
If that's the case.
But don't conflate the two, because Kaepernick's issue wasn't with the NFL. It wasn't with the NFL.
But the NFL made an issue with him.
Exactly. So let's not conflate the two. Monique is saying she has an issue with Netflix, with the way that platform. Wait. She has an issue with Netflix and with the way that platform assesses their talent. Right? Mm-hmm. That's like Kaepernick taking a kneel because I should be a starter, but I'm not a starter.
No,
right?
I don't think so.
That is absolutely what that is.
I don't think so because I feel like it's so.
Kaepernick taking the knee for police brutality has nothing to do with the NFL. It's just choosing where he chooses to present that.
So what I feel like is
You gotta agree with that.
I feel like so. First off, I'm not gonna make it seem like they're one and the same.
They're not. Okay.
They're not one and the same. I'm
Fair
just saying, in her industry, Netflix and all of them is kind of the league. It's sort of the gatekeepers, police, so to speak.
Netflix
And in this case,
big energy, man.
And in this case, what she's going against is basically her peers, the Steves, the Oprahs, and all that.
But she's not.
Yeah, she is because she called them out.
Yeah,
But she feel like they can help her, and they not.
Yes, she felt that way. But can they help?
But it goes back to what I said earlier. We're not privy to what's going on behind the scenes.
We're not.
And all that she did leading up to 2012, who's to say she wasn't in those circles? I would think she would be in those circles.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she was the hottest comic and had a Oscar. I'm almost certain Oprah had her over at her house several times.
But again,
I would be completely befuddled if it didn't happen.
Her argument wasn't with the industry. It was with Netflix and their metrics for what they use to pay their talent.
And then the industry attacked her.
No, she attacked the industry.
No. They started saying she complained about the money, and then the industry attacked. Well, but maybe you're not hot no more. And at that point, then she went ballistic. So, now, but again, what I'm going to end the argument, or at least my position, because I'm not. I guess I agree with both sides, but I find it refreshing that she's willing to fall on the sword.
No, and this argument isn't about that. It's not about that. The argument is integrity versus money, right? Mm-hmm. So, let me ask you this question. Yeah. If Netflix had gave her the same rules and regulations, but gave her a number closer to what she wanted, do we even have this argument?
No.
Okay. Right? So, at the end of the day, even her... Wait. At the end of the day, even her argument is rooted in money. It's rooted in money. And I'm not saying that there's not value in integrity, right? We have talks offline where it's like, we don't want to become caricatures of ourselves in this podcast. We want to actually talk about some shit. We want to have conversations, right? We're not trying to come on here and just say the most outlandish shit. LeBron James is the worst player in the league, right? We're not trying to be that. We're trying to have legit discussions and legit conversations, right? That matter and that mean something without... Right, we want it to be entertaining, but we don't want to sacrifice the factual basis that we're trying to have things on.
We're trying to sell our souls.
Yeah, right. For likes and for follows and shit like that. And shout out, hey man, Toast, we had 40 followers. 40 followers, my boy. So y'all see, we don't really give a shit how many we got. We toasted up for 20.
Facts.
Whether or not y'all know it, we toasted up for 20. Now we got 40. We doubled our followers in 2 weeks.
But I just think when it's all said and done, because I more align myself with Steve in general, but I just feel like they were arguing from two different perspectives. Whereas Steve is probably looking at Monique like, there's so much more money for you to make as long as you want to do this the right way. And Monique sitting there like, I'm good. I ain't got kids. I don't have to work another day in my life.
So I'll tell you this, and then we can move on, right? I read this book, Getting to Yes. It's a book on negotiations, right? Where the book stated that most negotiations fail because both parties fail to realize that what both of them are asking can be achieved at the same time.
Okay, she do got kids.
Right?
Okay.
So negotiations fail, a lot of them often fail because the two parties negotiating fail to realize that what they desire and what the other party desire can be achieved at the same time. So what Steve and Monique are arguing aren't on the same spectrum. right? They're
True.
not on the same spectrum.
True.
You can have a good business deal and maintain your integrity at the same time, which I think is a fair answer. But I think that
I think it comes. Eventually, you can get there. Definitely. I don't know if on the way up.
I'm not arguing.
I think
placement.
you have to make some compromises on the way up.
I'm not arguing placement. I'm saying that you can have integrity and get paid. There are people out there that do that.
Yeah.
Right? There are people out there that do it.
But I think Monique,
but to your point,
Monique probably is at the point where she's like, I'm done junking and jiving. You know what I'm saying? Like, I made enough money now. I just want I want the art to speak for itself. Look at what I've done. And she, again, I mentioned it earlier. She probably made the money. She's comfortable. And she's willing to fight these fights.
I think clearly she's not. And her role. Now, hold on. And I'm not saying this to cause any flack. Wait, let me get this off.
If you're right, then she fucked up.
Yeah, I'm not saying this to discredit her by any means. But her role in Precious wasn't a huge role, right?
Okay.
For example, when Cardi B gets Album of the Year, every producer that produced on the album gets Album of the Year. They also get a Grammy, right? So if you had a role in Precious and Precious got an Oscar, you get an Oscar. That's not to say the Oscar was largely on her shoulders to bring it in.
So we're not arguing that. I'm just saying what I'm saying is from a perspective. Like, I feel like Steve may have been projecting on her what she's not willing to accept. And if she ain't willing to accept it, well then, let her fall on her sword. Let her have the integrity. Because
that to me isn't projecting. That to me is the difference between wisdom. So the only reason why I would disagree with you is sort of like, what do you disagree with me? Where's my stance?
So the only reason why
what do you feel my stance is?
You basically said that's not projecting, and all I'm saying is you bring up your nephew all the time. Yeah. Don't you want the best for him? Don't you think he's bright? Don't you think don't you think the best out of him? So if he decides that he want to do something outside the realm of, you may definitely support him, but you may try to, hey man, but you can do this, that, and the third before you be like, here you are, son.
So that's an interesting take because
that's essentially what I get from that. It's like, I'm trying to save you, Monique.
Yeah. So that's interesting, and yes, I agree with you. Yes, I do that with my nephew, but to a limit. Because I understand this, and maybe Steve understands this too, and maybe it wasn't in the clip that they showed, right? But I understand that you can give all the advice in the world, but if somebody don't want to adhere to it, they're not going to adhere to it, and you can't. Your relationship can't be based on them adhering to your wisdom or your counsel. So my nephew, I tell my nephew, and this is what parents do, period, I think, right? Parents tell their kids what they think will work or what will yield the best result for them. It doesn't always mean that's what the kid wants to do. It doesn't mean that's what the kid has interest in, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, I've lived, and in my lifetime, this has been the proper way to go, or the way to go, right? To yield the best results, or the results that will end out well for you, right?
Is that not what Steve was basically saying?
I think he was, right? And Monique is kind of kicking back. Yeah. She's fighting back. But again, I don't think that their arguments are on the same spectrum. So I think what we have is a lack of communication, right? I think that at some point in time, somebody took this personal. And I think... And I'm going to say, I think Monique has taken a lot of it personal, right? Because she's made press runs of this, right?
Probably.
And she's gone out there. She don't call Charlemagne. She calls him Leonard or Leonard or whatever. I don't know. She's pronounced
funny thing, I'm shocked more people haven't done it. I think if I would have been coming into like the Breakfast Club and I was going at him, I would have been calling Leonard too.
Yeah, which I think it's Leonard, but she said Leonard.
The reason, so here's why they did it. Inside the first 6 months of them starting that show, some LGTB LGBT, whatever.
LGBT.
Yes.
Q.
Guy called
Shout out
up,
to us knowing that.
called out and was called the show and basically saying that Charlemagne was his boo. And he didn't call him Charlemagne. He called him Leonard.
Oh, there it is.
I think you can get that.
Maybe that picture of Charlemagne
I
tuned
think,
up was
yeah,
good.
I think you need to. I think you can YouTube that. But that was funny. I was like, I wonder why nobody else did that. I would have. That's would have been mine.
Okay, so her coming up there doing that, if that's what it's rooted in, that is personal. She's taking a lot of this personal, right? And once you start taking shit personal, which is why I tell people every year, at least once a year, read the 4 agreements. Because one of the 4 agreements is don't take shit personal, right? Somebody at work is coming at you. You know, it's not necessarily you. Maybe they going through some shit.
Facts.
And it's just being projected onto you, right? You ever had somebody that's just mad at you or comes off as mad at you for no reason? You ain't do nothing, right? They just mad. They going through a divorce. Yeah, they going through a divorce or something. Their car broke down or they behind in payments and shit. Don't take none of that shit personal. Keep doing what you do on a day-to-day basis. And I think that, you know, there was a lack of communication between Monique and Steve, right? Mm-hmm. I think at some point in time it got personal, and it was obvious that it got personal. Not that it wasn't recoverable, right? Not that they couldn't recover from it and hug and say like, hey, we disagree, but I love you and all this at the end. But at some point, somebody took that to heart.
Do we know it didn't happen afterwards?
What?
That they didn't come to that type of.
No, they hugged on the same show and said that.
All I saw was the highlight.
So, yeah. No. They hugged it up on the show and said like, hey, this is just how black people argue and disagree, and it's like, and she even said, we're not arguing, right? We're having a disagreement. It's not an argument. It's not that she want to reach over and punch him and all that, even though I think she said something like that. She made jest of it. But, you know, I think she's taking some of this personally, right? Because she is accredited. She does have the accolades, right? But at the end of the day, if you're going to a platform, right? Hear what I said. You're going to a platform. You're negotiating up, right? And it's their job to negotiate down.
Yeah, true. Facts.
It's their job. If I got the population, if I got the people that you're seeking, it's not my job to come in here and give you everything that you're worth. It's my job to get as little or to give you as little as possible. So she's got to understand that and play the game. Now, if you don't want to play that game, you get out here, you develop you an app, right? You don't even got to go through YouTube. You develop you an app and you run your traffic through your app. And then you say, hey, I got 2 million downloads on my app, 3 million downloads on my app that I could potentially bring to your company. I don't think that there's cross chatter there. I think I got 2 million pure subscribers to my app that I could bring to your platform, right? But if you're not doing that, you got to play by their rules. That's the end of the day. It's not a matter of integrity. This is a matter of negotiating, and she lost that negotiating battle.
So I would agree with you on that.
Her husband Sharif getting to yes.
I would agree with you on that, and I think potentially we'll be able to end on this. The only caveat that I will bring to that is, and maybe this is why she's calling the argument, is if someone of similar ilk, with similar background, similar accomplishments, and not the same color, maybe even the same gender, went to Netflix and got less, then there's a problem there. Maybe. Then now she's being lowballed for what reason at that point?
Maybe.
Now, I don't know that, but I'm just bringing out, that's the one caveat that then at that point I can totally get why she will feel like they're lowballing her. Next up is on 45. National emergency. Declaring a national emergency.
Yeah, state of emergency at the border.
Yeah.
So I consider you our political,
the resident expert.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Go with that.
I'll take that. Everyone got to have their job. Everyone has their job to do. But I feel so. Before we even get into kind of like the granular aspects of what he did, I feel like he's opening a Pandora's box.
Maybe.
And kind of going back to what we said last week about you bringing up, we got to be open-minded. This motherfucker may actually have something for us. Maybe not during his presidency, but in the future under Democratic administrations, he may figure some shit out for us.
You're gonna have to fill me in. For one, let me say this. I never said well. My argument was, don't be so blinded by hate that you don't see the benefits that somebody is presenting.
Yes.
Right? So, not saying I support
it's
him.
all that.
I'm not saying I support him.
I don't support what he did, how he used it.
First of all, let me go off and say this. I'm not a registered Democrat or Republican. I vote how I vote on the issue with how I feel at that point in time. Not saying I'm not able to grow and to change my perspective and to change my stance, right? With more information and with more, just experience and more, just getting older, right?
Yeah.
You change. Yeah. You change sometimes. So I don't register as a Democrat or a Republican.
Yep.
I vote however the fuck I feel.
Okay.
Which I think most of the nation should.
Say how you
but
feel,
we fucking register and align with people blindly. That's fucking crazy to me. I don't understand that. I don't agree with it, but whatever. All right. I digress.
Yeah.
Continue.
So what I will say, I guess before I get into that, because I like to end on that. I feel like 45 is being greedy right now.
How so?
Primarily because, he got funding for the wall. Maybe not as much as he wanted to, but that's how things work, in government, in politics. Like, you never get what you want. That's negotiation number 101. Or at least in business school.
You never get what you asked for.
In business school, the one thing they always said was, when you're in negotiation, you got a good deal when no one is happy.
I like that.
And no one is happy.
I like that.
Because he got money that, on the Democratic side, feel like they shouldn't have gave money to.
Yeah.
And he got money to be able to say to his people, look, I'm building a wall. I got 1.4 million. 1.4 billion.
Yep.
But he was greedy. Now he's using a loophole, so to speak.
Yep.
Something that has never been done before. At least not used in that sort of political realm. And for all intents and purposes, he knows this already, but he knew that by doing this, it was going to have a lot of legal challenges in the court. And one of the things that's going to go against it, and the ACLU already filed suit. It's Saturday night, and they already filed suit.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's going to go against them is the mere fact that the motherfucker in the goddamn announcement yesterday said basically, I didn't need to do it. I just wanted to do it because I wanted it right now. So if that's the case, it's really a fucking emergency.
So was that his comments
on
what Trump did?
No, that was his comments. In the press conference of him announcing that he's going to sign the legislation so there won't be another shutdown, and that he will be declaring a national emergency.
Yeah.
He said, I don't have to do this, but I want to do it right now. I want to do it faster. So I'm doing it like this. Which will be used once they go to court as to prove that it can't be an emergency if he's admitting that he can get it if he wait, but he want to get it faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard him saying that as well. But,
so with all that said, essentially what he did was and this is why I say he's being greedy. He's basically dedicating $6 billion to a bill, over $6 billion for a bill that he originally only asked for a little over $5 for.
Yeah.
So he's taking more, and he's essentially taking it from other places that it was allocated for, and this is where the legal battle is going to probably end up at, just because now he's going against the purse. And the president has nothing to do with the purse.
Yeah.
That's Congress. And that is specifically their job, to distribute money. And what he did was he took the 1.4 from the agreement. He took another $600 million from the Department of Treasury, from the Forfeiture Act, which basically when they arrest drug dealers, when they arrest drug dealers and they take their cars and all their jewelry and stuff.
Yep.
He's gonna take $600 million of that. He also taken, and this is where it comes into play. Is he really truthfully being honest about trying to address the scourge that's happening? He's taking money from the Counter Drug Act, from the Department of the Defense, $2.5 billion, and then another $3.6 billion from
damn, you did your research on this.
The military. Dude, when Friday, I rode around. I was rolling around to different customers, and when I'm riding around, I listen to
I hear
talk radio. But at any rate, he says he loved the military, but he's taking money from the Pentagon, and a lot of that money was earmarked for construction of service members housing. A lot of that was for that. And then he's saying he wants the war to stop drugs, right?
Yeah.
Well, you just took $2.5 billion from the Department of Defense to counteract drugs coming into the country.
Yes, but I think the taking of the 2.5 is right. That's active. What I'm assuming to be active employment of or deployment of personnel and whatever, right, at the border now. So he's taking it from there to build the wall, saying that you won't need it.
So
in the instance that the wall is built, right?
So here's the problem.
That's what I'm thinking, but
so here's the problem with that. Even if you were correct, here's the problem with that. 80% of drugs that come into this country come through ports of entry. Which basically means, if you don't know what that means it comes through places that they have to go through.
Cali, Miami.
They have to go through customs, essentially.
Yeah.
So they are already going through the right places where, above board businesses.
Basically, they're not driving it in a van across the border.
They shipping it.
For the most part, they're not walking across the border in the middle of nowhere.
We know that.
Now, the interesting part about it is half of the drugs that ICE or the Border Patrol have confiscated came from that, right?
Yeah.
And over 90%, roughly 95% of it was weed, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially, you're putting up a wall to stop essentially weed, from being walked across, which, for all intents and purposes, will be legal in this country shortly.
Yeah, but they want their money. They want it taxed.
I mean, but
and also, yeah, it starts out as weed, right? But they bring it over other shit.
The problem, 95%, 95% of what they found that didn't come through customs, that they actually confiscated, that didn't come through, 95% of it was weed. And the problem right now is opioids in the country.
Yeah.
And what's that? 80% of that? No. 90% of that goes through port of entries.
Well, yeah, because opioids come from fucking Asia.
Yes.
Because opioids come from Asia, and you can't get shit from Asia over here driving through borders. So wait. Before you get to that, I mean, that's the volume disparity, right? Is that there's a deficit in volume between opioids and weed. But weed doesn't hold the same time that opioids hold, right? Weed doesn't hold the same time that crack cocaine holds. Crack cocaine. Cocaine doesn't really hold time, but that's another discussion. That's another argument, right, for why cocaine doesn't hold the same weight and penalty as crack cocaine, right? Mm-hmm. Same product, it's just one's cut with, we won't get into the detail, but one's cut, one's not, right? So, but opioids is still an issue, and opioids are still, I think they're coming through the same channels, and I think that's just by way of knowing that you can get it through. at the end of the day is that if I'm an opioid dealer and I'm trying to get shit in there, and I know some guys down in Mexico that can move it, they gonna move it.
Well, just to, I guess, give some context to this, the X-ray examines that they are able to do at like the borders, I think they said they only do about 2%.
Well, yeah, I mean you can't. I mean, none of this should surprise anybody.
So
right?
in that instance, how are you going to find it? How are you going to?
If you've ever crossed the border, none of this should surprise you, right? Because one, you can't stop every. I mean, you could, but like the people that work like down in Mexico that got to cross the border to go to like Tijuana or whatever, Tijuana, however you say it, right? Y'all would be late every day if they had to stop. I used to work I've worked at nuclear power plants all across the world, right? All across the United States, not the world. And some of them, before you pull into the plant, I mean, they got to lower the gate, let you in, pull out the little bomb analyzers, go around, you get out the car, they put the little thing in your car, out the car. It's a 3 to 5 minute, not too long, but it's an ordeal, right? And if you're doing this for thousands and thousands of cars every day, you're going to be late to work every day, right? So they have to pick a adequate sample size to test, and that's what they do, right? Otherwise nobody would. You'd be leaving 4 hours early to get across the border, right? So you wouldn't get caught in this rush. I think the issue here is that, right? What I hear you saying is that he's pushing for this wall, and it's not needed.
Yes,
that's what I hear. We're pushing for this wall when there is no factual evidence that...
It's all about politics.
Yeah. There's no factual evidence that the wall or the people who are crossing the border illegally are the main cause of what you are saying the wall will prevent.
Yes.
Right? And that's what I'm hearing, right? But
or it's not even an issue, technically.
Yeah.
Like Friday, he brought up... He's bringing up people that happen to, people, kids or people that family members that happen to die at the hands of illegals. But that's making an issue out of something that isn't an issue. That is.
I think it is an issue, but I think it's a separate issue, and it's probably such a small percentage that it shouldn't even be.
It's not an issue at that point.
Right. It shouldn't.
We have other things that we need to be addressing.
There should
priorities,
there
essentially.
Should be bigger players, right? If we're talking about thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants crossing over the border, but you only got single digit, maybe double digit examples of right something that happens. If you're talking millions of illegal immigrants and you only have 1 to 10 examples of them doing something wrong, it's less than a percentage.
Like for instance, like for every one of these, you can point to illegal cause to death for someone. You can point to thousands. You know what I'm saying? Like thousands that happen at the hands of Americans.
No, I get it. That's what I'm saying. Like if it's not at 1 to 100, it's 1%. So if you're talking 1 to 1,000, you're less than a percent impact.
Even to the extent that even if he's talking about stopping people from coming in the country, the problem right now isn't people walking over the border. It's people that's coming in on visas and overstaying their welcome, like your boy.
Oh, here we go.
Shout out to 21, baby.
Yeah, he back. 21.
That's more of an issue than people walking across the borders now.
21. Yeah.
So, but it's literally a stunt.
30 to your face.
That we as taxpayers have to pay for.
That's a closed case.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how much more you got on that. Before we get to this, I'd like to get to the Pandora's box.
Well, what is the Pandora's box? I mean, I didn't have much on this. I figured, this would be your expertise and where you would really, take where you would really shine, right? And you're taking over, and you're doing what I expected. So thank you, because otherwise this would have been a 2.
So here's the Pandora's box, and this is where I say like this motherfucker may actually have stumbled onto something for us. Us on saying the progressive side of the country, as far as being willing to do more for your fellow man.
Yeah,
and by that. Taxes. At the end of the day, it's all about taxes. That's what that's what the argument between the two parties are realistically. But anyway, what he's typically done in the past is he went and he even admitted to it, rather upfront or shit. He was very aggressive about it. That essentially he uses the courts to determine where his limits are on what he can do. Whether it was the executive orders and the ban, it took essentially 3 passes before he got it where the courts would accept it. Like, it wasn't like, 3 different times that they tried the same ban. No, they changed it each time.
Yeah.
And finally they found one that met all the boxes. So essentially what a lot of people think is going to happen is essentially he's going to do the same thing with this. Going through as far as being challenged in the courts and each time readjusting exactly what he's doing. Like, for instance, the biggest issue that he's going to have right now is, or at least with standing is concerned, is the whole fact that he's redeploying funds that was already allocated by Congress.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that power. Like, that is literally Congress. And essentially what he's doing, he's subverting the fact that the power of the purse is for Congress. Mm-hmm. He subverted that. Now, what I'm saying as far as the Pandora's box, and some people already alluded to this, is he's going to run this down until he's able to say he got a victory. Yeah. So it's not something that he's going to accept a loss. No, he's going to keep doing it until he figures out where he can declare this, pull money, additional funds, and be like, I won. You see? I won. Because like, even now, he doesn't acknowledge the fact that, as far as like the ban is concerned, he doesn't acknowledge the fact that this is the 3rd iteration of the ban. It's not like this is the original ban and eventually we won on the merits of the original ban. Yeah. No, you changed it 3 different times. You changed it 3 times in order to finally get the ruling. So it basically took you 3 times to figure it out. What I'm saying is the Pandora's box here is he's basically going to figure out, and this is why the Republicans are scared. He's going to figure out exactly what other people behind him can do without going through Congress. So, for instance, in the past with the ACA, when Obama was having all these issues, getting people in his own tent to go along with, even the ACU, which is not Medicare for all, but let's say, for instance, someone wants a Medicare for all. Yeah. The next president who could be a Democrat could say, it's a national emergency that people are going bankrupt behind medical expenses. Compared to our, our actual contemporaries as far as other countries, developed countries, we're the only ones that's dealing with that. This is a national emergency. I'm going to declare such and such and such funds to start a Medicare for all. And essentially, he's about to figure that out for that. And that's what the Republicans, the ones that are against him, are scared of. That now, that the fight against that for the big corporations won't matter. Because if the president wants it, he can just declare a state of emergency. Declare climate control, climate climate change is a problem.
They backed out of it.
Yeah, climate change is the problem now. So now we going to invest so much money that Republicans would never do.
Yeah.
So that's the Pandora's box he's opening. Because at the end of the day, let's say, for instance, he doesn't get reelected. It's a possibility none of this money ever gets
elected on my birthday, man.
It's a possibility that none of this money ever get allocated. Because it's election is less than 2 years away. It's a year away. And this is at least going to be about a year-long fight.
Yeah.
But again, that's the Pandora's box, though. That I'm interested to see.
Yeah, man. This shit is it's deeper than what I think the average.
And like I said, you said last week, you got to be open-minded. If he does something good,
yeah,
that would be something good.
Yeah, but
at the surface, right? At the surface, he's very disagreeable. It's very easy to disagree with him and want to disagree with him. And I think, generally speaking, we do disagree with him.
Oh, yeah.
And by we, I mean people of color.
I feel like this is fucked up. But if I have to withstand this to get what could ultimately happen, because everything that we're talking about here as far as climate change and Medicare for all, a majority or let's just say, for instance, legalize weed. A majority of Americans are for.
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't allow some Bamas in the middle of nowhere like Wyoming or South Dakota dictate what the rest of civilized world, you know what I'm saying, is going.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be held back by them. And that's the real problem.
It'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting to see. And to your point about, there may be some actual good that comes to this. It'll be interesting to see how people take to it, and overall his legacy. If he's not reelected or if he is reelected, it'll be.
We gotta get this sucker out.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how it's written, man. I want to see the kids' history books in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what they're saying about him in there and what light they're painting him in. I already know, but
I think this could be the biggest thing that come out of his presidency.
Well, it's yet to be seen, man. Yet to be seen.
Because the one thing I will say about him, and then I guess we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I will say about his presidency, he is definitely pushing the limits of his powers. You're seeing exactly what a president can and can't do.
I think he's non-traditional, by all means, right?
And because he's not willing to play the game, he is, man, like you said.
Well, not only that, but he is, and again, I don't support him. So he's definitely non-traditional, and he's not sticking to how we're used to seeing things done. He's pushing the envelope, man. He's gonna see what he can get out of his position of power, man. And that's just what it is. Like it or not, that's what it is, and he's running with it, and he's not afraid to come out and be disliked, which there's something to be said about that, because I know myself personally, it's not difficult, but it's shocking, to be in an environment where you're not necessarily not liked, but if you just imagine starting a new position and it's just like you can't get no traction with nobody, it would be a little shocking. It's like, damn, like nobody, like not one nigga, not you, not you.
So
not
who
you.
Who you talking about? You talking about Trump himself?
I'm talking about Trump. So he's coming in and it's like he's not fazed by nobody not fucking with him. Like people on his team are just like, dog, what the, like literally everybody's been fired. Yeah. And he seems unfazed. You know what I'm saying? And I think, again, I'm not in support of him, in support of his rhetoric or whatever. But like this nigga might be Teflon. Cause to like not give a shit when your advisors are smarter than you in that subject.
Well, again, and I guess we can.
Yeah, let's not believe.
We can kind of end on this, but I think that goes back to the fact that when you're literally the most powerful man in the world, what can they say?
I don't think it's got nothing to do with power. I think Trump is.
I think it's the
Trump
office.
Is mentally ill. And
I think it's the office.
I think Trump has Asperger's or something.
He may do.
I mean, he don't have shit. That's really what it comes down to, bro. There's no way you can be on a fucking team. I don't care if it's golf. I don't care if it's F1. I don't care if it's beach volleyball. I don't care if it's Thursday night kickball followed by the bar. If nobody on your team fucks with you, nobody, you gonna feel some way. If you was on my team and the other 9 dudes didn't fuck with me, I'd be okay. But if you didn't fuck with me, the 10th dude, bro, something wrong.
I think so here, and to kind of go in that to follow in what you just said, the fact that he has his family members basically as de facto cabinet members, and basically
Melania don't fuck with him.
No, I'm talking about his
literally,
daughter,
and figuratively.
his daughter and his son-in-law. who are quasi cabinet members.
Sure. They gotta be because nobody else fuck with him. He's unfazed by it. And if they dropped out, I don't think he would be fazed.
But I think the fact that that's how he ran his company in the first place.
Shout out to
essentially
Asperger helper.
So essentially he's running the government the same way. So he's comfortable with that. And he has enough people kissing his ass because he's doing what they want him to do as far as a conservative led initiative. That they're willing to put up with his antics.
But that's exterior. I'm talking Trump himself not being fazed by nobody fucking with him.
The man is 73 years old?
It don't matter. I don't care how old you get. Asperger's is Asperger's.
Shout out to Asperger helper. This nigga didn't have hamburger helper. He had Asperger helper. And that's going to be one of the ads for this week. That's going to be one of our posts.
He got Asperger helper. Tonight. You got jokes tonight.
Yeah, I got jokes. Asperger helper, man. Shout out. He got the 4 cheese. The 4 cheese quesadilla, potatoes au gratin, Asperger helper. With Trump on the cover.
Cool.
What we got next, man?
I guess opera.
It's getting late. All right, so the opera shit. The opera, ATL, the club in ATL. We reported on it week 1. Week 2, I think we reported on it again. Week 3, we took a little break from it because there was no developments. But once again, we were sent some text messages related to it. I don't know where my phone is at. But basically, the same shit from week 2. Dominique was taken into custody. They arrested him. There's a mugshot out there where, there's a mugshot out there. He was arrested, taken into custody, and now, young Miss Island. I don't know how to say her last name. It's E.I. Land. Miss E.I. Land is she's doing press conferences with her lawyers and stuff like that. So they're taking further legal actions against the young man
and the
in the club.
Yeah,
against the club as well, right? Saying that they weren't adequately staffed to security wise to prevent such an incident, right?
I still go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm just reporting on it, right? I said week 1, like this is how I wish I would have taken to the Jussie Smollett case, right? Which is like, I empathize with the young lady, right? I empathize with her, and I think I said it, that like watching that video, it was hard to watch. And it's like, even though you couldn't see nothing in the video but her face and hear her voice, right? It was hard to watch that and not emotionally say like, throw this nigga under the jail, right? But then I heard the dude's side, and it's like, damn, I'm torn. I don't know what to do, right? So I completely removed emotions from the situation, removed emotions, and said, let me hear the facts and how the facts play out. So at this point, I mean, I'm just keeping y'all up to date on it because I brought it up the first episode or whatever. But at this point, he's been taken into custody, which isn't saying much, right? The rape, from what I understand, the rape charges have been dropped. It's a aggravated, or it was something like a aggravated, what's the damn word for when you do something in the booty?
Sodomy.
Yeah. Like aggravated sodomy or something like that, right? Which basically they're saying he fingered her, right? He fingered her without consent, and the sodomy is usually specific to the booty, but it might have been the booty or the vagina, right? We don't know, but
okay.
But at this point, I mean, that's what it is. That's where it's at, and I mean, the rape kit at this point, I think is false, so that's why they didn't pursue it.
Yep.
And I think the only way that they're going to nail, and the only reason I'm saying this, right? I'm not saying this because I don't believe the young lady. I'm saying this from a legal standpoint. We've all heard the cliche phrase that it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? So at this point, he did go in for questioning. He said he was going to corroborate with the authorities. So if they were able to remove DNA from beneath his fingernails, right? For y'all don't know, when you commit crimes, they're going to come in, they're going to scrape under your fingernails, especially in assaults and all that. They're going to scrape under your fingernails. They're going to get hair samples, blood samples. They're going to pull all that, right? Because if there's hair or blood, or you got this young lady's DNA under your fingernails, that is, it's not concrete evidence. But
particularly her, though.
Yeah. But it is evidence enough to say, like, okay, well, you have
had to be
whatever,
a fight or some type of struggle,
and you got that under your fingernails, right? Which means that you were in fact in her. That paired with the video of her saying, "Stop, help me, please help, please stop, whatever, it ain't looking good for you. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what we waiting on. We waiting on the results of said test to come back, and it shouldn't take too long, another week or two, for them to say like, hey, we swabbed his fingernails under his fingertips and found her DNA under his fingernails, right? And if they do that, then that's a good sign that this man, without consent, did in fact sodomize or finger this young lady in the nightclub when she was intoxicated and inebriated, whatever. It was without consent. It don't matter her state. It was without consent. Yep. And if that's the case, you a nasty nigga. Where's the camera at? Yeah. I'm over here. You, Dominique, you are a nasty
Negro.
This camera, right?
Negro.
Here. Boom. This where we at.
You gonna say Negro? You
a nasty Negro. You a nasty Negro, and you deserve what's coming to you inside them prison walls, my boy.
So, so what I would say,
it, man.
In my opinion on this is, I guess it's still the same. It's just, if that happened, you deserve to pay for what you did. My original synopsis on kind of, so her bringing in the club and saying not enough security was
that's just
there.
That's par for the course, bro.
But
anything happen at a club, you got to sue the club too.
But my initial
opera will be called concert next
year. my initial synopsis of, we talked about this, that essentially in the club, hands on waist and waist area is sort of par the course.
But that ain't hands and pussy ain't par.
But if you are in, I don't know I don't know how it went down, because like at the end of the day, it mentioned the little bit that I did read up on it. Basically said that he brought it to a part of the club that was secluded.
That don't matter. Hands and pussy ain't par.
So in that instance,
ass on penis.
But
you grinding up on a dude, that's par. Hands in pussy ain't par.
But what I will say is, recording on your phone, not making a scene, is one thing. Like she's
fucked up though. So it's like
and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the biggest part about this I wanted to discuss was the fact that ladies, you about to be on the bench with Champ. I see it already. But at the same,
go ahead and Champ warming you a spot, boy.
Yeah, he can. Man, fuck it, man. Because like I talk to my sister about this shit all the time. Like, look, you got
your sister on the bench.
Don't fucking matter, man. Like,
go ahead, man. Don't mind me, bro.
So at the end of the day, a lot of people, and particularly, the PC Nazi running around here.
Fuck them. Let's go.
Wanna act like we don't live in a utopian world. Like, you don't live there. Like, and in that instance, you gotta be aware of your surroundings. Every time I go out, I'm aware of my surroundings. And as a woman, you gotta know that, hey, there are people out here that are naturally stronger than me.
Yeah.
And I don't know who she went out with, because you don't know the backstory of if she was there with people. Because if she was there with some people, well then, where the fuck is your friends?
Yeah.
But
I mean, they was cheering her on while she was on stage shaking her ass.
But with that said, I mean, I'm not here to say that you can't, you shouldn't be able to go out and have a good time on your own. You should. But in a utopian society is where you would be able to go and get fucked up and not be worried about someone taking advantage of you. Because even as a man, I have to be worried about being taken advantage of if I get inebriated.
Yeah. Well, so what I will say is this, man, is that, we should all have our guard up,
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Like,
I walk around, I'm
not trying to victim shame.
I'm never so complacent that.
But where were your friends?
But not even just that though. But it's like, it's sad to say.
Because the only reason I say this is because I don't think nothing's going to come out of this other than maybe she get a check.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's ultimately what they're going for. They're asking for money, so it's not.
And it kind of hurt me seeing her cry and walk off like I did in the little what's name. And I'm like, I don't think anything's going to come out of it. I don't think you're going to. I don't think no conviction is going to happen. I think maybe you get a check out of the club because they just feel like that's easier.
Maybe. But so at the end of the day, right, they always sue the nightclub. So let's not even act like this is new. This is par for the course. Something happens at a nightclub, you sue the nightclub, right? Because you have a pretty good chance of beating them. Hence why most nightclubs, after somebody gets shot outside or stabbed outside or killed outside or killed inside or shot, stabbed, whatever the case may be, right? Not to make this doom and gloom, is that after they have some kind of serious legal bout, they change the name, they rebrand. Right, the building doesn't change, location doesn't change, but the name changes.
Maybe technically change ownership.
Shout out to Roxy in Orlando, which is now Glit or Guilt, something Glit, Guilt. It's Guilt. Shout out to Beecham, which used to be Taboo. Shout out to whatever used to be Kairos. I don't even know what Vane, which used to be Kairos. There's always some kind of legal action.
And whatever club used to be whatever other club in every hood or neighborhood in every city around the world.
A tale as old as time. Yeah.
But all I'm saying, like
because you can't. This is the argument, right? It's that. It gets down to the point to where it's like we're telling people how to live opposed to telling people how to not be fucking creeps and assault people. Right? So it's a double-edged sword, bro. It's a double-edged sword. I don't know what the hell you're writing over there. I ain't got no writing material. I got no loose leaf over here. What you writing?
I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
We already
got no
loose
leaf over here, y'all. He writing some shit. I got no loose leaf.
You want me to bring you something from?
So again, my point is that I hate when this argument is presented online, but I have to agree with it. Is that you can't instruct the victims on how not to be victims, right? When you go out, we all have those moments where we celebrating something, and the goal is to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? The day before my wedding. Boy. Whoa. Boy. The goal was all my boys were saying it that whole night. You know how many times I said, "No, you getting married tonight. You getting a shot tonight." Bro, I had to take at least 10 shots, 15 shots the night before my wedding because the goal was to get fucked up. Yeah. Now, if I got robbed that night, you can't come to me and say, "Dog, you should have known better. You should have known not to get fucked up the night before your wedding." Like,
so
damn, I can't never let my guard down.
So,
now to your point, hold on. But to your point, yes, in that instance, I had a circle around me, niggas that wasn't fucked up and niggas that was watching me, Negroes, because I think that's what we saying now. Kings, shout out Jack Carter. I had a circle of kings around me, right? That wasn't gonna let that happen to me, but. I don't think the instruction of you should be directed at the victim, right?
After it happened, no.
Yes.
So in that instance, that's why I said, ladies. Yeah. I'm not talking to her. Like what happened to her?
They usually do a good job of protecting their homegirl. You can't even get a dance with them without looking.
But
good.
Again, it happened to her.
You ever tried to like?
It happened to her. Like I'm sitting there. Like, why do you think I'm saying? Like
that's why I get denied.
Where was her friends? Where was her friends?
If you don't even look good or appealing that night, you can't even get a dance. Because she going to look up at the friend.
I guess she's trying to save me, so I'm going to leave that alone. But what I will say is this.
I'm glad you're finally picking up.
What I will say is this. I said this before, and I'm just going to elaborate on that. In the sense that we don't live in a utopian society. Criminals will be criminals. Period.
Facts. You can't tell a criminal not the criminal.
Like that's what they gonna do.
Criminals gonna criminal.
And in that instance, that's why you always gotta be. You gotta be on your fucking your P's and Q's, man. You gotta be
based on that,
on your square.
What's the name of the episode? Criminals gonna crim? I don't know about that. All right, man. What else we got?
Like I said, dude, I you know.
At the end of the day, the investigation is still ongoing.
And the only reason why I feel like that, and I wanted to say this, is because at the end of the day, I don't think nothing's going to come out of it other than she's going to get a check. And is that really going to be closure for her? Because she feels like she feels like she's been wrong. In seeing the video today,
so let's make this actionable.
She feels like she's been wrong.
So let's make this actionable. What should women
be aware, because we're men. We know how men behave, right? And it's not, you don't even have to be a criminal, right? Because I've admitted that, you know, looking back, you know, at my younger days, right? Listening to some of the stories and shit like that, like I can admit that, like, damn, some of the shit we was doing was wrong. As has been labeled predatory, right? Yes. It wasn't with the intentions. It's just kind of what you know, what you're taught, right? Yeah. You're taught this is how it goes, right? But as you get older, it's just like, nah, that's kind of fucked up. So to like my neos, to younger dudes that I come across with, when I see them moving kind of suspect, it's like, nah, that's not it, bro. That's not it. Chill. Like you tripping right now. Like I advise these guys, right? Mm-hmm. But they got to understand that, again, this alludes back to kind of the episode 1 where we're taught you're rewarded for toughness, you're rewarded for aggression, you're rewarded for all this shit.
For the numbers.
Yeah. And then as you get older, you realize that, like, there's more of a fall off, right? It's like, again, diminishing returns.
It ain't worth it.
Right? And the diminishing returns to this aggression shit is way worse than anything I've ever seen, because you can be aggressive, and to some point, like women, it's weird. This is weird dynamic where if you're too nice, you don't get no play. But if you're kind of an asshole, you get play, right? We're all looking for validation, they say, right? So it's like when you don't give somebody no play, right? You don't give them no play, they're interested in you. When you show them your hand up front, you don't get no play. They just like, damn, this too easy, right? Everybody wants to chase the cat and mouse. But with that comes when you overshoot that target and you just aggressive. Next thing you know, you got a rape charge on your hand, or sexual assault or something like that, right? And it's not worth it. It's not worth it to reach this pinnacle in, you know, attractiveness, or to in the community be looked at as this dude that got the juice. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be looked at as like, yeah, he cute, or yeah, he this, but he wasn't aggressive enough. Mm-hmm. Than to be too aggressive, and now you're dealing with what this dude Dominique is dealing with, right? Yeah. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I can go days with this man, but I'm not gonna do that because it's already enough shit out there. But just know that, like, the young boys, I be talking to the young boys and just like telling them, like, y'all don't move that way. Yeah. Like, that shit might have seemed cool at one point in time. It ain't cool. It ain't worth it. Tighten up. And hopefully, like, yeah, be mad about it now. You can yell at me. You can cuss at me and all that. But you're not in jail. But if you keep this shit up, you're going to be in jail. And I don't want to hit you with the I told you so with the, the glass window between us. I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it. I want to see all my people flourishing and thriving out here, and I don't want to see nobody locked up. I don't want to see nobody trying to recover from some emotional damage due to sexual assault or anything like that for my ladies and everything. I don't want to see the shit. But I'd be remiss if I got to direct that at the ladies too, because some ladies out there is aggressive, is super aggressive too. And the same shit go for y'all.
And I like that.
Right? Here we go. God damn. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a woman saying what she wants, but y'all could be too aggressive too.
Hey, matter of fact, that exactly.
Next topic.
I love a woman.
Next topic.
That
next week
what she wants.
Next week we'll get into that. Is that there's not enough women saying what they want and going for what they want. But this week we talking about people forcing themselves upon each other. Yeah. And don't force yourself on nobody.
Shouldn't do that.
Don't force nobody into a situation. And again, let's all get along, man. Let's all get along, because the result of all this shit is going to be that, you know, it's like where it's approaching right now, where you can't even just go to a club and just dance with somebody without being labeled something predatory, right? That's the byproduct of too much fucking sexual assault, too much people taking advantage of people, right? So everybody just chill, man. You go out to a nightclub, just have a good time, man. You approach a young lady, you know, grab her by the hand, look in the eyes, and if she say no, let her go. Fuck it, let her go. Most nights when that happen, the next girl that walk up is gonna say yes. So it don't even matter, dog. It don't even matter at the end of the night. She said no, but then the next one who's as fine, if not finer, said yes. You still won. Maybe not with your first pick, right? You got one no, but you got a yes. So you should take solace in that.
Hey,
what's next on the docket?
Hey man, motherfuckers that fail 7 out of 10 times get to the Hall of Fame in baseball. So
wins and lessons, y'all. Wins and lessons. Hey, listen to me.
at win.lessons. We ain't got no profile pic yet, but just know it's coming.
So
and you heard it here
now,
first.
What do you want to talk to about now? That's about it.
I don't know. You got the docket. I got nothing over here today. That's it.
Matter of fact, that topic wasn't even on the docket.
Yeah, we added that. All right, man. Well, this was the
last two was on the docket.
Damn. Well, this is a short week in that we're 20 minutes shorter than last week, but. I mean, I think that's good. I think we're getting more concise. We're being able to articulate our arguments.
A lot less than that too. If you think about it.
Yeah. You're right. The magic of editing. Shout out to the 3-camera setup. But, yeah, man. I think it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on for sure, and we just here to keep y'all in tune with that and hope y'all enjoying it. And, hey, y'all got to reach out to us, man. Reach out to us and let us know. If y'all listening to this, and maybe we should start putting this on the front end of the episodes, and I think we will, right? The call to action is going to start going on the front. You do it already, which is subscribe and all that, right? Well, we're going to start putting out there, like, man, reach out to us. Let us know how y'all like to engage. I got a text earlier this week, actually yesterday or the day before yesterday, from my homeboy Lance. Shout out Lance. Where it's like, he knows a young lady who records something like, I guess, like a podcast, right? She poses questions. It was Thursday. You were there. She poses questions on Instagram Live and all that shit. Yeah. Poses questions on Instagram Live and kind of interacts with people that way. But we want to know, man, how y'all want to interact with us, because we'll meet y'all where y'all are at, right? Right now, Instagram seems to
Twitter.
be the place. Yeah,
Instagram, Twitter, we're there.
Yeah, but it's interesting, right? As we do this, because it's like we have a vision in mind, and it's not concrete. It's like it's very small. It's like, this is our vision, right? But outside of that vision is a number of ways that we can interact with people and to engage with the people that are listening to this, and we won't know what the best way is unless y'all engage with us. So please reach out to us. Tell us, like, if you want Instagram Live videos. I mean, we tried posting some polls this week. We got a little traction on that. Do you want to actually see us typing or talking to the camera and stuff? Because we both, we do this right here, so we feel like this is enough camera time. But and we both have 9-to-5 jobs and are professionals. So 9 to 5, we're at work. So I would feel a little, some kind of way trying to do this inside my office with everything going on where I work. But how do you feel about that? Probably the same.
I do feel the same, but I feel like we are accessible, whether it's IG or Twitter at HT Squared Pod, at both IG and Twitter, as well as via email, which is htsquaredpod@gmail.com. Additionally, you can reach us on SoundCloud and YouTube. So I mean, we're available. So just reach out one way or another.
Website coming soon.
That too.
iTunes coming
soon. And
Apple Podcasts coming soon.
We can always adjust as we move forward.
No doubt. But I want to know what y'all want, man. What topics y'all want to hear about, man. Because we kind of across the board, but that's because we have very diverse interests between him and I. Where he has insight in football, I have insight in basketball. Where he has insight in politics, I kind of look at business. And goddamn, we didn't talk about Amazon not paying no fucking.
Yeah, that was the last thing we didn't do.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but we will save that because I want to do more research. I want to actually look into the ITEP shit, whatever the international or whatever tax.
But I will. The one part I will say is that is the number one reason why I say everyone should have a LLC or S corp. Particularly if you have a hobby that you invest in.
Yeah, big facts. Mine is photography and graphic design and t-shirts and all that shit. So holla at your boy, JDEX Photo on Instagram, at JDEX Soon to change to JDE Designs, also the name of my LLC that I have, which has been incorporated since 2016. So with that, man, y'all just let us know, man. We want to hear from y'all. Reach out to us at HT Squared Pod on IG and Twitter. HTSquaredPod@gmail.com on SoundCloud.
Hot takes and half truths on SoundCloud and YouTube.
What the fuck? All right, Hot Takes and Half Truth, SoundCloud and YouTube. You heard
It's the full name on that.
It's
on
the
those
full
two
name.
platforms.
It's the real deal there.
You can find it.
And we updating, man. Y'all see the progress. Like, not only did we get the video last week, now we got the 3 camera set up this week. We got the episode artwork coming out, rolling out. So you saw that on episode 3. So episode 4, look for the same thing to kind of to be showcased, and then going forward. And then, you know, if there's something you like us to do, man, like weekly or midweek kind of check-ins or updates on what's going on out there, let us know, man. Let us hear from you. Again, HT Squared Pod, IG and Twitter, HT Squared at HT Squared Pod at gmail.com. And
Hot
then
Takes and Half Truth podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud.
There you go. Look for the premiere Thursday nights. What we gonna do? Thursday 9 p.m.
Now it work.
I like it. Thursday 9 p.m. the premiere of every each new episode. Y'all can tune into that and hear from us on YouTube. And then coming real soon, it's gonna be the HT Squared. We'll get you the actual official name, but the Hot Takes and Half Truths website and Apple iTunes podcast. So y'all stick with us, man. We growing, and definitely best believe some merch is coming. So support your boys, man. We out here, we trying to educate and enlighten our community, and with that, definitely from the merch, you can be certain that this merch, the proceeds will be kicked back into the community. Not all of it, but some of it, definitely, right? We both believe in giving back. So there you go. There you have it.
All right. And from the two of us to all of you.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Here we go. We over here. Holla at y'all.